Rudolph found the letter first. He wasn't supposed to, but Rudolph wasn't supposed to do a lot of the things he did now. It was 2 nights before the run. The main workshop was dark except for the glow of the naughty, nice server rack, humming in the corner like a tired beehive. The mail sacks were stacked along the wall. Most of them were open already, culled and sorted and turned into data, bikes, dolls, tablets, forgiveness, attention. Rudolph was digging around for aspirin. He saw the small white envelope wedged between a crate of candy canes and a box labeled replacement coal ethically sourced. No stickers, no glitter, just to Santa and a handwriting that looked like it had given up on itself 3 times and kept going anyway. He almost tossed it in the too late bin, then something in him just didn't. He slid it open with a hoof careful and read. Inside, in those tired lines, it said, "Dear Santa, I need a little help. You have a lot of little help. I want just a little of that. For Christmas this year. I'm still waiting for something better from last year. Don't leave me hanging. I know when you're coming to town. I'll find you." By the time he finished, his nose wasn't glowing. It was just red. "Yeah," he muttered, "that tracks." Behind him, the floorboards creaked. "You're not supposed to be in the mail," Santa said. Rudolph didn't turn around right away. He folded the letter back on its own crease and held it for a second, like it might jump. "You're not supposed to have this much mail," Rudolph said, "but here we are." Santa sighed. It was the kind of sigh that came from centuries of PR. "Give it here." Rudolph turned then. Santa looked smaller without the suit. Just a big man in a flannel shirt, belly softer than the stories, beard a little yellowed from pipe smoke. Rudolph handed him the letter. Santa read it. The whole thing. He didn't skim. He didn't chuckle. He didn't say ho. Not even half a ho. When he got to the last line, his hand tightened the slightest bit. If you weren't looking, you'd miss it. Rudolph was looking. "So," Rudolph said, "you got a fan." Santa folded the letter once, twice, then left it open again, as if even the paper refused to stay shut. "Which sack was this in?" he asked. "It wasn't in a sack," Rudolph said. "It was in the crack, between things, like it slipped out, or got pushed." Santa chewed on that. "You ever think," Rudolph went on, "maybe the system's a little leaky?" Santa shot him a look. "You're drunk." "I wish," Rudolph said. "I'm tired. There's a difference." They stood there in the low humming light. Somewhere in the distance, an elf coughed, the dry sound of seasonal burnout. Santa read the letter again, this time under his breath, like a confession. "Dear Santa, I need a little help. You have a lot of little help. I want just a little of that. For Christmas this year. I'm still waiting for something better from last year. Don't leave me hanging. I know when you're coming to town. I'll find you. You have a lot of little help," he repeated, almost to himself. "Ah," Rudolph said, "so he does notice." Santa ignored that. "I'm still waiting for something better from last year," he read. Rudolph snorted. "Join the club, kid." Then Santa reached the last part again, and the room went strange. "I know when you're coming to town," he whispered. "I'll find you." Rudolph rolled his shoulders, the harness scars under his fur itching. "He's not wrong," Rudolph said. "You are painfully predictable. Same route, same night, same act. You've been syndicating reruns longer than there's been syndication." Santa kept staring at the page. "You deliver to everyone," Rudolph said. "But you don't land for everyone. That's the part that pisses him off. Eventually one of them was going to write it down." "Enough," Santa said, more to the air than to Rudolph. Rudolph stepped closer. "Look, big man, all I'm saying is, this one's not like the others. Most of them ask what they want. This one knows what you didn't do. Last year, the year before, whatever he's counting." Santa closed his eyes for a second. "You think I don't see it?" he said. "The houses we pass over, the empty rooms, the ones who aged out of the story but never out of the need." "Then why keep doing it like this?" Rudolph asked. "Same performance, same script. He's making a list." "Yeah? Well, so are they. So is he. Santa didn't answer. After a while, Rudolph jerked his head toward the letter. So, what now? You gonna send a fruit basket? Santa put the letter carefully in his breast pocket. What now, he said, is I have a schedule to keep. Rudolph let out a quiet laugh that didn't sound like one. Of course you do. At the door, Santa called his name, Rudy. Rudolph stopped but didn't look back. What? You're not my biggest fan, Santa said. Rudolph took his time answering. Doesn't matter, he said. I'm still your ride. Then he left, and the workshop swallowed the silence again. Here's the thing about a schedule. If it's tight enough, it becomes a map. Christmas Eve, sky like bruised steel. The world turned down low. They ran the route, roof to roof, chimney to chimney, portal to portal. Cookies, lights, cheap hope, overpriced hope. The usual patchwork of almost magic. Somewhere around 4 in the morning, whatever morning means at the top of the world, they were ahead of pace. A rare event. Coffee? Rudolph called back over the wind. Can't, Santa said. We still have... Coffee, Rudolph repeated, and dipped the team without waiting for approval. They dropped toward a strip of highway in the middle of nowhere, the kind of exit where the world has given up and left behind a gas station, a motel shaped like a row of tired teeth, and a 24-hour diner with a sign that says eats because ambition is expensive. Santa swore under his breath, but he didn't pull the reins back. The sleigh settled on the dark edge of the parking lot, behind a broken ice machine. 5 minutes, Santa said. Take 10, Rudolph answered. You look like hell. Santa trudged across the asphalt, boots scuffing old oil stains and patches of black ice. He pulled the door open, and the bell above it gave a half-hearted jingle, like even it was sick of the season. Warm air hit him, burnt coffee, fryer grease, cheap pine cleaner trying to keep up. He took 2 steps inside, blinking against the fluorescent, and then he saw you. Corner booth, back to the wall facing the door, half-drunk coffee in front of you, gone cold a long time ago, a folded piece of paper on the table, edges worn, like it had been opened and closed more times than made sense for one page. Your eyes met his, and you didn't do the thing people usually do, no double take, no delighted gasp, no phone scramble. You just looked at him like a man who was late. Santa stopped just past the mat. Oh, he said. Then, without meaning to, loud enough that the waitress by the pie case looked up. Oh, shit. You raised an eyebrow. Yeah, you said. It's me. For a second, nobody moved. The waitress shrugged and went back to wiping a spotless spot. Some country song about trucks and regrets hummed from a small speaker in the corner. Santa walked over to your booth, every step an admission. Up close, you were exactly what the letter had sounded like. Tired, but not surrendered. The kind of tired that has opinions. He looked at the paper on the table. Is that... It's my handwriting, you said. You tell me. He didn't sit until you nodded at the other side. The vinyl squeaked under his weight. He picked up the page. He didn't need to read it. He'd memorized it, but he read it anyway. Dear Santa, I need a little help. You have a lot of little help. I want just a little of that. For Christmas this year. I'm still waiting for something better from last year. Don't leave me hanging. I know when you're coming to town. I'll find you. He set it back down between you like evidence. You did, he said quietly. Find me. You shrugged. You're not hard to track, you said. Guy like you, same night every year, whole planet talking about it. You're basically a walking bus schedule with branding. He snorted once, unexpected. You've been waiting here long? He asked. Depends what you're counting, you said. Tonight, couple hours and a bad pot of coffee. Life, bit longer. He looked around the diner. One trucker asleep over a plate of fries. A couple arguing in low, tired voices. A lone elf on the TV in the corner, selling insurance. This isn't a stop on the route, he said. I know, you answered. That's why I picked it. He studied you for a moment. You could have stayed home, he said. Waited to see if I showed up. You smiled without warmth. Yeah, you said. I tried waiting last year, remember? I'm still waiting for something better from last year. I thought I'd see how the other half lives, the ones who don't stay put. The waitress came over with the coffee pot. Top you off? She asked Santa. He looked at his empty hands, then at you. Sure, you said for him. He's got a long night. The waitress poured, didn't blink at the suit. People who work graveyard in places like this have already seen everything they're willing to believe. Santa wrapped his hands around the mug like he needed the proof of heat. You have a lot of little help, you said, repeating your own line back at him, casual as a weather report. He winced just slightly. I do, he said, in a manner of speaking. In every manner that matters, you said. Workshop, logistics, PR. Everybody loves the big man. Meanwhile, I'm over here drafting letters in the margins of my life and hoping one slips through the cracks. He didn't argue. After a while, he said, most people who stop believing, stop writing. I didn't stop believing, you said. That's the problem. I believed you enough to call you on it. You tapped the letter with one finger. This is not a wish list, you said. This is an invoice. He looked at the lines again. I'm still waiting for something better from last year, he read aloud. Yeah, you said. That one's my favorite. It's polite. It's vicious. It's true. He drank some coffee, grimaced. Even myths can't fix diner brew at 4 a.m. I can't pay that invoice, he said. Not the way you mean. I know, you said. If you could've, you would've, or you should've. Either way, here we are. You leaned back against the booth. I don't need a miracle, you said. If I did, I wouldn't be in a truck stop diner interrogating a seasonal icon. What do you need? He asked. You looked at him like you were considering whether to bother telling the truth. I needed to know you could be cornered, you said finally. That you're not just some floating idea everyone swears by when life blows up. I needed to see you tired. I needed you to see me not dead. He nodded slowly. Consider that box checked, he said. That's not an answer, you said. That's a receipt. The TV in the corner cut to a commercial for jewelry, all soft focused smiles and perfect snow. The sound was off. It still screamed. Santa stared at his reflection in the window, a man-shaped myth in a booth meant for truckers and graveyard shifts. You know when I'm coming to town, he said. That's what you wrote. Yeah, you said. Song gave you away, and you said you'd find me. You spread your hands. Look around, you said. Middle of nowhere, fluorescent lights, bad coffee. You think this isn't exactly where somebody like me would catch somebody like you? For the first time he laughed. It was low and rough, like it had rust on it. Fair, he said. You leaned forward. I'm not here for toys, you said. I don't care about the sack. I don't care about the sleigh. I care about the line of people like me who wrote something, prayed something, whispered something, and watched absolutely nothing change in the ways that counted. He didn't look away. I know, he said. Do you asked. Because I know is cheap. Everybody says I know. Doctors, pastors, friends, I know. Then they go home. He sat with that. He didn't rush to fill the silence. Finally, he said, what do you want from me right now? Not in theory. In this booth. You thought about it. Nothing you can put in a stocking, you said. I want you to walk out of here and not be able to unhear this. He frowned slightly. This? You tapped the letter again. This, you said. That there are adults sitting in diners and apartments and parking lots all over this rotating rock who are still waiting for something better from last year. From 10 years ago. From a childhood that's over. And every time you do your little global lap, the story says you're fixing it. You're not. I just wanted you to know someone noticed. He sat back. That's it? He asked. You hunted me down to file a report? Yeah, you said, to log a complaint with the manager. He shook his head, but there was a trace of respect in it. You could have asked for anything, he said. Money, health, company. I did, you said. In other words, in other seasons, in other prayers. Tonight I'm asking for a witness who can't claim ignorance anymore. He swallowed the rest of his coffee like a punishment. Consider it asked, he said. Consider it answered? You pushed. He thought for a long moment. I can't promise outcomes, he said. Not on that scale. Not on the things you really wanted last year. I didn't ask for outcomes, you said. I asked for you to carry it. You've got a lot of little help. Tell one of them to make room on a shelf for the truth. He nodded, slowly. Rudolph's nose flared in the parking lot, a low red pulse against the window, impatient. Santa glanced at the clock on the wall. The hands were stuck at 2:37. Of course they were. I have to go, he said. Of course you do, you said. He reached for the letter. Stopped, left it. That's yours, you said. I kept my copy up here. You tapped your temple, and in my spine. He slid out of the booth. At the door, he paused. You know this won't fix anything, he said. Not in the way you deserve. You shrugged. Yeah, you said. But now when kids sing about you knowing when they're sleeping, I get to remember the night I watched you blink in bad fluorescent lighting. That's something. He huffed a laugh. You'll write again? He asked. Maybe, you said. Maybe next time I won't warn you. I'll just show up. He smiled without comfort. That, he said, is what keeps me up in July. You lifted your coffee mug in a lazy salute. Travel safe, Claus, you said. Try not to make it worse. He pushed the door open. The bell protested. Cold air rushed in. Outside, Rudolph watched him climb back into the sleigh. Well? Rudolph asked. You look like you saw a ghost. Worse, Santa said, settling into the seat. What's worse than a ghost? Rudolph said. A believer with a memory, Santa answered. Rudolph snorted. He your biggest fan? He asked. Santa looked back at the diner, at the faint shape of you in the window. No, he said. But he found me. Rudolph shook his head, almost approving. Yeah, he said. You did say he would.